Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today I have an open box video for you of a bunch of coins that I just got back from NGC, and we're going to take a closer look at some mid-century modern. We're not doing any remodeling here, but we are going to use the term because there is a whole lot of you who like this stuff from the 1940s, 50s, 60s, and a lot of it's kind of hard to come by, especially in higher grade. Um, this is a proof Franklin from 1950, the tough date in the series. I had a few Franklins that I sent in here, a few proofs. In this one, the 1950 is one of the only ones that I'd probably send in just about any grade, although I will say I was kind of expecting a little bit nicer grade than I received on this one in particular. Proof 63 is the grade that it came back. And overall, the coin itself I thought was pretty nice, very reflective, of course, no cameo effect to it at all. But I did feel like it was nicer than just an average coin. You can't see very well, but I'm going to try to point out it has a little bit of some, shall we say, scuffiness to it, just in the cheek area, but the fields are pretty satiny. There's actually a very fine, what I guess you could call a scratch that runs kind of from Franklin's nose forward to the date, and it's very hard to see. It's very faint. I'm actually having a really hard time even capturing it on video, although when I was looking at it earlier, I was noticing it, and I thought, well, maybe they're digging in it for that, and I think that's a possibility there. So that coin is about a $300 coin in the condition that it's in. I kind of thought it would come back a little bit higher grade. Generally, when you're looking at just about any type of coin, if you see a lot of very average coins and then you see something that is different looking, your eye kind of gets attracted to it and it kind of pops, as you might say. It kind of has a look to it. And so this one in particular, when I got in, I said, okay, I see what's happening here. You're face to face with greatness, and it's true. So this coin, 1950 also, and once again, halves are very hard. Proofs are very hard in general. Modern proofs, I think, to grade and grade well, you kind of have to have a feel for them. But also because of the issues with the reflectivity of the surface, when you look at the coin, it can really mess with your eye. But what I want you to concentrate on right now is from noon to 3 basically, so that big open field from the R in Liberty all the way down to the 1950. Just, you can kind of get a feel for just how clean that is as I turn it back and forth. There's just no marks of any kind in there. And we're going to look at the same thing's going to happen as we kind of cartwheel the back, kind of behind his head. There are no marks back there. And also, this coin has a little bit of a cameo effect. So this came back at proof 67, which is a great grade. It's actually, the previous coin probably came back a tick or two lower than I thought it would. I was expecting more of like a proof 66, possibly light cameo. I still think this coin is cameo. I don't think it's a heavy cameo, a deep cameo, but I definitely think it has cameo there. The cameo effect is when you have kind of the black and white effect from the surface of the fields to the devices. The devices are, of course, the words, the lettering, and the portrait. So overall, great coin. This coin lists for over $2,000 in the gray sheet, and that is a good grade, and can't not be pleased with it. The next grade up, just so you know, for people who are hardcore collectors on those, a 68 is like a $6,000 coin according to Gray Sheet. All right, so now that we've had a couple of pretty high grade coins, a 63 but now a 67 kind of in front of us, let's look at a 1951 Franklin and see what we can see. First of all, let me see if this coin appears to be out of rotation by like just a couple percentage points, like, because this way it looks perfectly upside right, and then this way it just looks like off kilter, just a hair. So this coin also has a little bit of a cameo effect, and something that they did not designate. They called it a proof 65. The obverse doesn't really have the cameo effect to it as much, but the reverse, you can get a little bit of the black and white look to it on the reverse of the coin. And overall, if you put them next to the previous two coins, I think that you can kind of say, yeah, I like this coin kind of in between the other two coins. This coin also has really great fields to it. Just kind of mark-free. The cheek is really clean, and the back of the field very clean. This coin is about a $300 coin. It actually came back, I think, exactly how I had it marked. For those keeping track at home, we were doing just the standard submission methodology here. They have a methodology called standard/early bird. All right, 1952. Franklin. Proof. You can see how this one does not have any cameo appearance to it compared to those other two. And you've got another coin that's very, very high grade and a very, very clean surfaces, I should say. And overall, a very pleasing coin. This coin also came back a proof 67, which is pretty good. I mean, I actually had this one at high grade. I have a hard time ever assuming that a proof's going to come back a 67. I had this listed as a proof 66. You know, they're so picky that I never assume you'll get a 7 out of a coin. You know, it just doesn't happen as often, no matter how nice the coin looks. But you can see just how nice those fields are, and overall, really a very pleasing coin. This books for about $5.75 in the gray sheet on that guy. All right, so next up, this one, okay, so this is, I don't know what I want to say, a mysterious coin to me. So the 53s are especially hard to get in Cameo. And this is a coin that I thought was very special versus the other coins, especially since they don't really ever come Cameo. And as you look at the coin, you can see it's very black and white. It's kind of like me. It's very black and white. So I really wanted a Cameo on this coin, and it came back a 66 star. So stars they use for eye appeal, but they also use it especially on coins that they say have kind of like almost a Cameo look, but not quite. And I am just a little bewildered on this coin because I see no reason why you don't just call this a Cameo. It's a big jump. I mean, this coin, I believe in a Cameo on this coin is about $1,500. The way this coin is, it's probably still a $500 coin, but, you know, come on, guys. I mean, some of you out there, you Franklin experts, you can talk to me about this a little bit, but boy, that's a Cameo to me all day. I mean, out of all the coins that we've looked at, you can see the transition from a little PL to what I would just flat out call a Cameo. All right, so that's a cool coin. Let me show you something a little bit different now. We've got this 1903 V-nickel. Now, V-nickels, even in high grade, I don't really usually send them in until you get something that you think is kind of special, because there's not a lot of margin on these. So, you know, a nice uncirculated coin is $100 to $150. So you really want a coin that's going to come back very high grade. You can see it has a couple little spots to it on the surface, but those are not in any way, I think, distracting. I'm just focusing on how overall clean the coin is. One of the things that's nice about V-nickels, most of them have a nice strike. Look at all the detail in the hair. But the big open surfaces on these coins cause a lot of contact marks. So, and nickel is a softer metal, so you can see some spots at that angle, and then at this angle they kind of disappear. And but you can see a couple contact marks on her face. But really, that whole neckline to face area is just one big open surface, which is designed just to get contact marks. So when you don't see contact marks, you're thinking it's a pretty high grade coin. So they call this a mint state 64. I actually was hoping for something 65 or even a 66 because overall the coin is just that pleasing. It has that type of eye appeal to it. It has that, compared to all the other V-nickels that I get in, I just thought, okay, this one has the look. It should come back a higher grade. But in this grade, it's about a $150 coin. And I'll tell you what, it's a nice coin, but didn't quite meet the mark that I wanted. All right, 1879. Now this is where I just say something stupid like it's a Carson City, but of course it's not. It's a San Francisco mint. But this coin was out of a old Whitman album that I had, and it's got, I didn't dip it or anything. It's got all that original funky toning going on, and even a little bit of some, I don't know what you call it, just some different types of surface disparity, shall we say, overall. But I do like the toning on it. And one of the things that I'm pointing out here as I look at this coin is the proof-like nature of this coin on both sides. Especially, it's easier to see on the obverse because the obverse is mostly white. I know a lot of people that would have dipped this coin. You can see it has just a gentle haze to it, and I understand why someone would dip this coin. But I loved the reverse toning. I like that kind of mottled look. It gets that nice gold, kind of gold finish to it. And they call this a mint state 65. And it's hard to be too disappointed in a mint state 65, but you guys judge with your own eyes. You know, I'm not expecting anything like a dimple on this coin, but I mean, throw a PL on there. So there's not a huge difference in price. You know, I think the coin will still sell kind of like a PL because it's so obvious. One of the things that's nice about the collector community that we deal with here is I got a lot of people who are very well educated, and they'll still buy a coin based on its overall eye appeal, not solely based on what the label says. And you can always tell on a coin that has a superior look to it, it does tend to get a superior price. So, you know, that's probably 150. I'm probably going to price it at 200 with the PL on that coin. Last but not least, all right, guys. So this coin, put your money down and wager now, because this 1937 Buffalo nickel with the famous three-legged variety. So one of the things that you'll see right away is it has quite a bit of luster and detail, and you'll also see a lot of color. So you can see the luster move. So if you look in the open area between the forehead of the buffalo down to the open ground where the legs are, as I turn it, you'll see that shimmer and shine. That's luster on a nickel. So this coin, we'll look at a little bit more before I say too much more, but it also has a decent amount of luster on the obverse, really dances a lot. The color is, of course, I think, questionable. So that's kind of what I was expecting. I thought they were going to call this coin AU questionable color. They called it AU details cleaned. And so I'm really fascinated. Everybody take a drink. I'm fascinated. Yes, intrigued, of course. We can use that term instead. The coin's beautiful in person, and the color is, I think, a little bit off. Like I thought it was possibly artificially toned, but I thought, well, maybe not. But it looks really great. It looks pretty nice in person. You can tell a little bit. I mean, I still wouldn't call it clean. I think I would have gone with the artificial color or the questionable color. I don't think I'd even call it artificial. But if you get it kind of sideways at a really hard slant, you can start to see the high points having a touch of wear to them. The coin, if you get the coin at the wrong angles, it looks uncirculated, but it's not. It just has a touch of wear on the high points. I agree with the AU58. I mean, I would call it an AU58. The funny thing is the obverse. I mean, the obverse looks new. You know, it doesn't look like there's wear. I mean, your high point's going to be on the hair right there, dead center, a little bit on the shoulder on the date. The reverse, you always get that buffalo, top of the buffalo shoulder is going to be your highest point. And it looks like there's just a touch of wear on there. So anyway, all right, guys, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of these coins. Thanks so much for watching. I've been TheCoinGeek. You can subscribe by clicking on the button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.